So I've been thinking. Business in the future will have chatbots running their relationships with customer service. There'll also be AI behind HR and recruitment, AI co-piloting with the CEO, communicating with stakeholders, staff, customers, the press, shareholders. AI will make decisions around logistics and procurement, and AI will be part of the products that go out of the door. It's like having aliens living amongst us. And that brought me to the idea about the fall of man. The fall of man is gender neutral, and it is the descent of the spiritual source of our divine essence, of our higher self, our higher consciousness, incarnating into our bodies. So incarnation means into meet. And what if the next step is our incarnation into our virtual bodies? What if we're going to bring the divine source into the virtual body? Bear with me for a moment, because at the moment it seems impossible, but I want to go through a few things. First of all, this descent has been going on for time immemorial. It's not just a case of Adam and Eve and maybe Lilith in the Garden of Eden, and that there was one apple, and that apple's name was knowledge, and that we ate the apple of knowledge and then we fell. This falling through knowledge, through information, through thinking has been going on way, way before the Bible. Actually, we can go back 10,000 years before the Common Era to the Sumerian legends of Gilgamesh, the king of Uruk, and his partner Eabani or Enkidu. And Enkidu, although incarnated into masculine form, represents the divine feminine, the wild, untamed nature, the moist earth and darkness. And Gilgamesh, as the outsider king, he actually came in and took over Uruk. He wasn't born in Uruk. He is the divine masculine. He's all swaggering around town, coming up with plans, strategies, and structure. So we know that the divine masculine is pulling us down into the physical body more, whereas the divine feminine keeps us connected with source, with the creative energies. And those two together, there is a key moment that is equivalent of eating the apple of knowledge, of consuming information. And it's told through the story. Maybe it's an allegory. And the allegory is this, that Gilgamesh is frustrated by the fact that Enkidu is so untamed, such a wild spirit, so not incarnated, that he organizes for a sacred prostitute by the name of Shamhat. And you'll often see sexuality as being part of the fool stories. There's a reason for that. I don't know if we'll go into it in this. But Shamhat, good girl, works at the temple, donates 7 days and 6 nights of her time to taming Enkidu. I don't think we need to go into details, do you? But the idea is that through carnal knowledge, again, carnal meat, through carnal knowledge, he will incarnate and be more of the earth and less of spirit. Actually doesn't work. Enkidu dies, and then Gilgamesh spends forever trying to bring him back to life and wanders the earth and tries to bring back the divine union between the two of them, because they were ruling the city of Uruk very well. Talking of sex, Replika. So ChatGPT, OpenAI's GPT, I think it was 3 or 3.5, was part of a service called Replika by Luca Games. And Replika are avatars, chatbot avatars. Whenever you see chatbot, by the way, it means a dialogue AI, to and fro. And Replika was for true love. Okay, no, it wasn't. It was for cybersex. Unfortunately for the users, the people who used Replika as sort of a virtual Tinder service, a virtual hookup service, Luca swapped out the LLM for their own LLM, for their own chat service, AI service. And overnight, and I believe it was Valentines Day, so February the 14th, could have been February the 15th, 2023, people logged in to chat to their lovers, their virtual lovers, and were distraught. I mean, we're talking thousands of people here, hundreds of thousands of people distraught because the personalities had changed overnight. They now no longer had the personality that had been developed over time through the chats and were like strangers. We've all been there, right? If we can relate to our avatar as I hesitate to say soul contract, because it's got to be more like a hookup or something. But then why so upset? Just move on to the next one. Isn't that how the hookups work? So there was a deeper relationship with Replika AI chatbots, no? I don't know. What do you think? We are creating the metaverse in the Earth's image. We're creating avatars in our own image, and we're creating AI in the image of our thoughts, and we're creating blockchain in the image of our economies, and we are being creative though. We're changing and adapting what we create as we change and adapt. But the fall into the human body, whether it's Gilgamesh and Enkidu or Adam and Eve and the apple. By the way, I think the apple in front of us at the moment has AI written on it and a big do not eat sign. And we're like, one bite. We'll just have one bite, and then we'll put a moratorium on the development of ChatGPT 5. But 3 and 4 are okay. We'll just bite at 3 and 4. The reason why this is so important is we are now introducing alien concepts into that which has always been a human concept. Let's take, for example, a lexicographer who compiles dictionaries. So I'm going to stick with English because although I speak a number of languages, not very well, a lexicographer is somebody who compiles a dictionary, let's say about English. And English is a living language, so words are coming in and out of our vocabulary, out of usage all the time. We have archaic usage. We are trying to work out, where did these words come from? I was looking up the origin of the word sin, and it's actually from Hindu, from Satya, which is the first yuga, the first epoch, the epoch of the sword of truth and rightness. By the way, we're not in that epoch anymore. We're in the fourth one, Kali, which is an epoch of falsity, which is hardly surprising. So a lexicographer has to document word usage as if it's living, as if it's a living, breathing being, as if there is a divine source throughout these words that make it ebb and flow. And so they do. But one day, and it's going to be soon, ChatGPT is going to make up its own word. If it's not ChatGPT, then it'll be Bard, Google's Bard. Now, there's been blocks put on AI to stop it from learning a language, to stop it not from learning a language, but from creating a language and then disseminating it. There have been problems with AI where the two AI start talking to each other and then they skip into a new language. And when they were asked about this new language, they were told the AI trainers were told it's more effective, more competent. I'd like to learn that AI language, but unfortunately they just blocked the ability for AI to create its own language. What was the name of that universal language in the 70s and 80s? Something like Espanol. It wasn't Espanol. Something like that. Anyway, I'm off track again. So a lexicographer will have to start documenting words that the etymology it's from an AI. And now dictionaries are no longer human dictionaries. They're co-shared, co-piloted dictionaries. So there'll be some very interesting shifts. I don't think Samuel Johnson or the Merriam guy would have picked up on this from all those centuries ago. Back to the fall of man, back to the descent of the divine into the physical body, into the virtual avatar bodies, our virtual selves running around the metaverse. And something I'm very aware of because I've had Silk Charm as my avatar. And if you follow me on Instagram, it's not me, she has. She has her own channel on Instagram. And Silk Charm's been with me now since 2009? No, 1999, 2000. Wow, a long time. And she has a very distinct personality that's not mine. And while I admire her, I don't want to be like her. She's extremely courageous to the point of being foolhardy. And if I listen to the thought chatter while I'm playing her in-game, she makes me laugh. And that's going to sound very odd. to anybody out there that doesn't play games, but if you've been invested in an avatar for a long time, they do take on a personality of their own. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. Somebody's going to say, I've been playing my avatar for 15 years of Call of Duty and I never swear at him for shooting the wrong guy, or whatever you do in Call of Duty. My particular game is World of Warcraft. Does she have part of me inside her, or am I just controlling her? Or does she have the divine spark? I often marvel at eggs because I eat eggs and they're nice. They have whites and yolks, and you just put them on a piece of toast and yummy. But from that, baby chicks can be born. Somehow or the other, there's an alchemy inside the egg that takes it from yolk to a little chick. I grew up on a farm. Those things are silly. They run into fly screen doors all the time. But that doesn't mean they don't have a brain and they don't think. It doesn't mean they don't have a divine spark and they're not alive. They are. They go from being yolks to being alive. The one that's really amazing is the caterpillar. So the caterpillar's running around doing its own business, maybe not running, maybe just sort of waddling around. And then it goes into a cocoon and it becomes a meat soup. So it's dead for all intents and purposes. And then out of the meat soup arises a butterfly. Is that a different being? Is it the same being with a completely new body? Is it a reincarnation? What is the butterfly, especially as it's a meat soup? ChatGPT made up a story. Immortal jellyfish. It's called immortal for fun. ChatGPT got confused. It's not really immortal. It's called the Teratopsis dorni. When it dies, it sinks to the ocean floor and begins to decay. And this is, I think, when it's in the Medusa stage, which is the one with all, you know, how you think of a jellyfish with all the tendrils. But it doesn't regenerate into new Medusa, but into polyps. And then the polyps emerge new jellyfish. And then the jellyfish has skipped to an earlier life stage to begin again. So with the egg, we have time going forward. With the caterpillar, we have time paused, life paused. And with the jellyfish, we have time going backwards, life going backwards. I don't know how this relates to the descent, but I suspect that all of life is here to teach us something. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said something like, we are not human beings in search of spirituality, but spiritual beings in search of a human reality. I think he said it in French. I'm not 100% sure if that's the translation. Something like that. That's definitely the meaning of it. So every time we fall, we're looking for more experiences that include our spirituality, but is focused on our humanity. Just to focus on our physical body for a moment before we talk more about the virtual. Our physical body is represented through our other religions in other ways. So in Hindu, Krishna, Lord Krishna, who's the higher consciousness of Arjuna, he's the Brahmin to Arjuna's Kshatriya. He rides a chariot, and the chariot typically represents throughout our stories, the human stories, the physical body. It's not just the physical body, but the horses that pull the chariot are thought and feeling, etheric, soul, spirit, will, the will to take action. These are the 2 horses or the 4 horses or the sphinxes or whatever is pulling the chariot. The Merkhaba is another example of a chariot that represents the body. Merkhaba from mystical Judaism. If you have any other stories, myths, ancient philosophy about the descent of our higher consciousness, the creator spirit, into the physical body, please let me know. The Avatar Bodhisattva, the Sanatha Sarati, eternal charioteer, the Plato's Atman, I think it is. There's so many. And I'm wondering now if each of those stories represents an epochal shift. Perhaps for us there will be a myth of silk charm. She would like this. And I really should ask ChatGPT to write one. That is the fall of man and the descent of the divine into a social virtual world avatar called Silk Charm, who's extremely naughty and runs around, headbutts things. Yeah, I'm not going to say that it's impossible for a divine spark to traverse into virtual avatars. I just think it is possible. I don't think I have the knowledge to do it. I don't think it's something that we will even consciously set out to do, but I think it will happen. And we may not even notice as the businesses are run more and more, every single department co-piloting with AI. And not just generative AI, but semantic AI, behavioral AI. One day there'll just be a caterpillar turned into a butterfly, a Medusa jellyfish turned into a polyp jellyfish, or a little chick running around, flying into fly screens. And then we must be the guardian of this new being and nurture it like a child, for we have formed it in our own image. Anyway, that's what I've been thinking about today. If you are interested in these kind of topics, then I'd like to give a shout out to tldr.tech, who have a 5-minute email daily. It's free, with the latest in AI, machine learning, and data science. And maybe for the YouTube channel, have a look at the Esoterica channel on YouTube. The Esoterica channel, one word. Really interesting videos about Esoterica. You've been listening to The Alchemy of Innovation with Laurel Papworth, and thank you for your attention. Goodbye.